Hello, YouTube. It's Jerome Parker starting episode 3 of Jerome Parker Live. Now, I know we are about 3 hours late going on the stream. I had to handle some business in Lexington, and then I came home, had to put my kids to bed, and accidentally woke up one in the process. So there's that. But I'm here now. So yesterday, we really only have one data type, uh, two two data types left to go over, but one of them we're going to save until we get to Laravel. Um, so we're just going to focus on this one real quick, and then after that, we're going to get into control flow logic. So the last data type that I would want to show you guys is the array data type. Now, arrays are a collection of items. So you can have an array of numbers. You can have an array of strings. In fact, strings are character arrays. Um, and the cool thing about PHP is that you can have what are called associative arrays. So you can give names. Um, you can give name values. So when you have an array, you can grab the list or what's called the index, the position of the item in the array, using what's called a zero-based index. So, which is like how we do our math. You have the numbers 0 through 9, and then you go to 10, which is 1 0, and then do that 0 to 9, and you go to 20, 0 to 9, blah, 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 blah. So, if you want to access the first element of an array, you're going to call the array with index 0. And I'm about to show you all that. I'm just trying to get some settings together here on my computer. I don't want to bore you with the details, so give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay. All right, cool. So let me shift 2. All right. So let's open up this open up the salutations file that we worked on yesterday. Racing car, blah, 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 blah. Actually, you know what? We're just going. That's messy. We're just going to do a new array.php. PHP. PHP. R equals array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here you see we have an array. I'm gonna call this X because I'm gonna have multiple arrays in this example. We have this array of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So an array in PHP is created with the brackets, square brackets. So this is a type of array, and then also this is an associative array. What I was talking about. Faye, Adam, 1, Johnny, 2, Rakim, 3, Susie, 4, and Amber, 5. So if I wanted to grab the element of number 3 in array X, so number 3 right here, and I would do my echo function X2. Now, why would I do 2? Because remember, this is a zero base index. So instead of one, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5, it's actually position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4. So it's the position n minus 1. Now that's for a one-dimensional array. Now for an associative array, if I wanted to, what is Susie's number? Well, I can do Susie. So if we run this program, we should see the numbers 3 followed by the word Susie. Actually, before I do that, let me echo /n echo /n. All right. So if we run php array.php, we see 3 and 4. So, what are some other things about arrays? Arrays are a special class because they have certain functions on that you can use, and we'll get into those as they come up in code. A lot of them are encapsulated in Laravel, so you don't really have to do much memorizing. The last data type that I was talking about is what's called a closure data type. So a function can you can have a function that returns a function. So you can define your own function how you want it to do based on the data that's returned from the previous function. I know that sounds confusing, and it kind of is, but I'm going to save that for when we get to Laravel because closures are essential to Laravel. And let me pop out this chat real quick. Who's online, by the way? Who's online? What's your name? Where you from? Yada, yada, yada. So, control flow logic. What is control flow logic? Many times when you're writing applications, you're going to need your code to take certain actions to pace depending on some controlled flow. So whether that is run a certain action depending on if something is true or false, or run this action X many times, or run it until a certain condition makes it otherwise. So three um, there are three control structures that I'm going to go over today in depth. That's all, and they are if statements or if else statements, loops, and switch statements. So let's start with if statements. We actually talked about that in our yesterday in our salutations.php. If statements return true or false. So let's go back. Instead of doing an echo var dump, we're gonna make this basically if you remember the is make function from yesterday, we're basically taking the car and run a function to check if the make is equal to the make that we pass into the function. So I'm gonna put an if statement here. So if this make equals make that we pass in as the variable argument rather. If this condition is true, then we want to echo the words true. And otherwise, or else, echo false. So, I mean, this should be pretty self-explanatory. If a condition is passes some truth test that you give it, perform one action, otherwise perform another action. And this can be nested infinitely. You can have as many if statements in between your if and else. You just have to end with an else. If you use an else, you can get rid of this else and just do if this if it is equal to make echo true, and then have another if statement, just if this equals, if not, if it doesn't equal make echo false. Let me just do the same thing here real quick, and then we're gonna run it. Echo. Nobody's gonna join the chat, say who's in the room or whatnot. It's cool if you don't. It's totally cool. I should play some music. You guys want to hear some coding music? To make this a little less awkward for me. All right. Okay, cool. So let's run PHP salutations. Oh, I forgot to put the backslash in. Cool. So as you can see, false, 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 false. Okay. So if statements, if else statements, pretty easy, right? Now what about loops? Now what is a loop? A loop is a control structure that runs what's within the block of the loop call until a certain condition is met. So you can basically there's two kinds of loops. There's while loops and there's for loops. You can use any one for any purpose, but generally there are times you want to use a for loop. So for example, let's say you have an array. Well, let's go back to the array actually. So let's say you want to run a block of code over each element of this array. How would you do that? Let's get rid of all this. For. So you have a for loop and you have a for each loop, and I'm gonna show you how to do both. So a for loop, you pass in the where where you want it to start, where you want it to end, and how you're going to modify the counter on the next iteration. So for example, we want to start if we want to go through every item in the list X, we want to start at index 0, correct? Correct? Correct. That's funny. So we would do for I, you could give us some variable, equals 0. So we're going to start at 0, semicolon. I is less than, I want to say, yeah. I don't know if I should. I'm trying to look to see which one is the best method to use. Size of or count? I think count is the better one to use in my opinion. Count X. What does this part do? Basically, I'm saying, um, as long as I, the iterator, as long as it's less than as long as it's less than the count, the total count of the elements in array X. So as long as as long as I is less than 5, because there's 5 elements in this array. And after each iteration, I want I to increase by 1. So we're going to do plus plus, which is a shorthand for take whatever you had and add 1 to it. So plus plus I. So basically from 0 to 5, in this case, because X has 5 elements, I want to echo X at index I. So what is it going to do? It's going to echo out every element of the array in the array X. So let's save this and let's run it. Before we do that, I forgot. I need to add echo. All right, PHP array.php. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also have what is called a for each loop. And there's 2 ways to write a for each loop. Now, what is a for each loop? Basically, you can give it it's an easy way to do a for loop on arrays. So for each, and then you pass it the name of the array, so X, as for each X as R. You give it some alias. So let's say I called. Let's say this was numbers. That would be better. I'm gonna change all this to numbers. All right, cool. So the name of the array, and then you give it a name, an alias name for each element in the array. So for each numbers as number. So it basically is doing this part for you. Is doing this part numbers I for you. So by doing this, I can just reference number. I can just do echo number. echo /n. And this should show the same thing as this. We're going to run it. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty simple. I love this shorthand. Use it all the time. Now let me show you the other way to write a for each loop. And this is really good for associative arrays. So I'm going to call this names. So the other way to write a for each loop is to do for each names as and then key value. Now what is key and what is value? The key is the is I. This is the key. And the value is the number. It is the element that the key gives you. So in this case, if the key was 0, I equals 0, the value would be 1 because key number 0 corresponds to value 1. Key or numbers 1 corresponds to value 2. See what I'm saying? In this case, key atom is equal to 1. Key blah 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 blah. So by doing that, I can do echo value echo /n. Save. Now I should see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna do. Shoot. I keep doing that, and I mean to do PHP, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's weird. These names. I'm wondering why I didn't show 5. Here, I'm gonna do something. Adam. And as you can see too, I didn't point out associative arrays don't have to be the same type. Here we're mapping a string to a number. And this can be like a string to a object or whatever. Oh, my boy Joshua Griffin, he just popped up on the chat. I see you, my homie. What is good? Appreciate the love from Louisville, Kentucky. He's a network engineer. Holla at the boy. Let's see. Let's make this Adam West. Johnny Bravo. Rakim. What is that? What's the rapper Rakim's last name? Whatever. Rakim the rapper. Susie Q. And Amber Coatley, my grandmother. So that should show. Oh, okay, it is. It is showing right there. I was tripping. There's the 5 right there. Okay, cool. Thought there was something wrong with my code. So that's those are for loops. And then you also have while loops. Now what's a while loop? A while loop is basically you want to just run until some truth test passes. And a lot of times you can get yourself into what's called an infinite loop. So a truth test that always passes true, that while loop will just run forever. And sometimes you want to do that. So let's see. Okay, okay, okay. Let's say we have an integer I or integer j, and it equals 0. While um, while j is less than numbers or count numbers echo. We'll go ahead and just do some escaping right here. Numbers j slash n, and then I'm gonna do j equals j plus 1. So what's going on here? I'm initializing this variable j, and I'm initializing it to 0. And basically I'm saying while j is less than the total number of elements in the numbers array, which right now is 5. There's 5 elements in this array. So while j is less than 5, echo the element uh echo the number at element j. So it'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then afterwards make j equal to j plus 1. So this the first time should say 1, and then j will be 1. So it grabs numbers at 1, which is 2, echoes 2, j equals 3, grabs, you see where this is going. So let's run this. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a formatting error. Well, not really an error, but formatting mistake. All right, so those are loops. And then the last thing that guys I want to show you is called a switch statement. So what's a switch statement? So let's say you get a piece of data, and depending on what that data is, you want it to perform a certain action. So there's a mathematical operation called modular division. It's the percent sign. And basically, the modular division gives you the remainder of the division. So 3 mod 2 would equal 1, because 3 divided by 2 is 1 remainder 1. And you return the remainder. Got that? So let's go back, and we're gonna keep this array. I'm gonna go ahead and just comment. Yeah, I'm just gonna comment everything out to here. Y'all, what's up, boy? How you doing, Gravity Gaming? What's your name? What do I call you? I know your name's not Gravity Gaming. All right, so we have. So basically, instead of after I echo the number, I'm going to do switch. Actually, before I do that, before I echo this. number equals numbers j. Basically, I'm just setting a variable equal to the current number. So switch number mod 2. So what am I doing here? Yeah, this is old account, but has all my subscribers. I keep using it. You can call me Riker. What's up, Riker? How you doing? Where you from? So the switch statement, I'm doing the modular 2. So I'm basically testing to see if this is an even number or an odd number. If it's an even number, then something mod 2 divided by 2 should have a remainder of 0. If it's an odd number, it should have a remainder of 1. So after you do the switch statement, you add the curly braces, you do cases and defaults. So in the first case, I'm doing case it equals 0. Currently living in southern Utah. Word out of the dude that I worked with from Utah. The only person I know from Utah. Now you're the second. What's it like over there? Are you a developer? Do you make games? If so, then I need to have you on my stream sometime. So case equals 0. Or case 0. Believe. Am I doing that right? I always get so. Look, never be afraid to do Stack Overflow in Google because it'll save you time. So I make sure I have the right syntax. Yeah, I don't know why I was doubting myself. So case 0, echo. This is even or number is even, break. So at the end of each case, you want to break. Put this break statement. Break basically says stop where you're at. Oh yeah, you just said that. Said you've been doing Laravel for about a year. Yep. Have you messed with Laravel 5.4 yet? I like it. I really liked what it basically just improves upon Laravel 5.3, and I love it. Taylor Otwell is he's an amazing developer. I'm trying to speak at Laracon this year. I gave my proposal, so we'll see what goes on with that. But let's see, and then default echo. I don't know what kind of number this is. Break. All right, so what am I doing here? I'm testing to see if the number is even or odd. If it is even, I'm going to print out to the screen the number and say it's even. If it is odd or has a remainder of 1, then I'm going to echo this number as odd. And then you always want to give a default case that if none of the cases match up, then give it a default. And in this case, I don't know what kind of number this is because all numbers are either even or odd. So I'm putting the switch statement inside this while. So that way it'll test each individual number. So let's see what happens. Let's clear the screen. And PHP array. 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd, 4 is even, 5 is odd. Exactly what we thought it was going to be. And basically with that basic knowledge, you can basically write some basic apps. How long have I been on here, by the way? Yeah, I'm loving 5.4 for show. Only issue I had is mix. Yeah, is that the replacement for Elixir? I need to get better with that, and I need to get better with Vue. I focus so much on doing APIs for my mobile apps that I don't really. I need to get back on my Vue JS game hard. Let's see. Okay, cool. I'm doing good on time. 35 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, so Elixir replay. I'm working on a live chat application right now. I'm planning on learning Dusk. Where I using a Socket.io. I use Socket.io for so much stuff. I've been doing a lot of Internet of Things apps that run. Basically, I'm using making Laravel web panels, and then I'm using Socket.io to communicate with my IoT objects. Like I'm building a thermostat replacer or controller rather, and then getting uh, IoT sockets like electrical sockets and stuff like that. Um, and got Bluetooth and all that, Raspberry Pi. But yeah, I'm also working on a live streaming application using RMTP and Laravel for the web application with Socket.io for the chat. I love real time apps. Let's see. Before I get into File IO, I'm trying to think. Is there anything? Probably with Axios. I'm gonna sit and learn Socket IO sometime. Yeah, Socket IO. After I do my first after we get through writing our first full scale Laravel application, uh, the enhancements. The first thing I want to do is real time. So just bear with me. Let me get through these basic PHP tutorials. And then next week, I plan on starting the Laravel tutorials. And then by the end of the week after that, hopefully we'll be starting to get into some more advanced things. But Socket.io is definitely going to be instrumental and crucial to what I'm doing and what I'm trying to teach. All right, so I did if statements. I did switches statements, and I did loops. So I guess the next thing I need to do is file IO. So in the Linux operating system, everything is a file. Everything is a file. No exceptions. Everything is a file. Folders are special files that point to other files. Well, I'm headed out anyways. Cheers, man. Hope talking to you soon. All right, dude. Peace. Hopefully I'll be back on tomorrow at the regular time at 6. So I'll catch you later, dog. I appreciate you coming on. So file IO. So in many web applications that you use, I'm sure that you've gotten download links, downloading PDFs, downloading pictures, downloading anything and everything. There's a good chance that all that is automated. Like they're not saving copies of each individual PDF on their server. It's all being generated on the back end, and then they give you a file. And all that is done using file input output operations, or file I/O. So if you ever see the words I/O, that stands for input output. So you can open files, you can close files, you can delete files, you can edit files. So let me make a quick text file. Test.txt. This is some random text. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if I've said this or not, but you can look at any and all PHP documentation on php.net. In fact, we're going to do PHP file input / output, and php.net, and also w3schools.com. And that is personally the website that I used when I first learned how to code. So yeah, php.net, you can just search PHP how to do blank, 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 and you will find everything that you need. All right. This is some text. Exit, exit, exit. So let's create a new PHP file called file.php. And whenever you open a file, the first thing you need to do is make what's called a file pointer. A lot of times you'll see FP for file pointer. And in order to get a file pointer, you pass in, you use the fopen function, which stands for file open, and you pass it the path of the document that you want to open. So in this case, I'm going to do fopen with test.txt, and I'm going to open it in read 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 plus append mode, read write append mode. So if I want to see what's in there, the simplest thing I can do is do echo stream get contents. This is the most basic way. It's just gonna empty. It's just basically gonna dump out what's in here onto the screen. So I expect to see hello, this is a test. I forgot to put the PHP functions. There are PHP script tags. Let's try that again. This is some random text. So in addition to opening, you can also write to a file. So let's open this back up. In order to write to a file, you use the fputs command, which takes in the file pointer and then the text that needs to be added. We opened up in R mode, so it's going to add stuff to the bottom of the file, I believe. That's what R plus, or it might be the beginning. We'll find out in a second. This is some more random text. We can go back to the beginning of the file using the rewind command, and then we're going to exit. So we should see this is some text followed by, or this is some random text by this is some more text. Wait, let me make sure I'm open up in the right mode. Let's see. Refile, file system, refile. Where's the line writes to the output? As follows. I think I got confused on the open permission. I think it's A plus for appends. Let me try this. This is some more. So this is some extra. Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, I opened up an R plus, which I think rewrites was already in there, and I wanted to append what was already in there. So this is some more text. This is some random text. So that's how you open files, and that's how you edit files. And then you can also anything that you can do with your mouse and your keyboard, such as creating a new folder, deleting the folder, looking at the contents. All of that can be done in PHP in the file manipulation file system. So if you go to php.net/manual, if you just search file system handling PHP, it'll come up. So what are the things you can do? You can change the file group, change the file mode, change the file owner. You can copy, you can delete, you can get the total free space. You can like look at all these functions. I'm not about to read all of this, but anything that you can think of when you think about handling your file system can be done with PHP. So let's see. Let's open this back up. Let's get rid of everything in here. All right. So in this example, we're going to create a new folder called test documents. And then we are going to create a new file inside of that new directory and put in some text. So remember I taught you yesterday that you can use the mkdir command to create a directory in Linux. Well, PHP uses most of the same command names, and they have an mkdir make directory function. We're gonna call this test documents, and then we're gonna do the f open. And f open, if there's not a file, it will create a file. File pointer equals f open test document slash document.txt. Open this in append mode. Fputs fp Jyrone Parker loves to code. Echo stream get contents fp. All right, so as you can see, there's no other folders in here. Now let's do ls. Now we see the test documents folder, cd test documents. We see document.txt. Another useful Linux command, cat. It will show you, it'll dump the contents of the file onto the screen. So we're going to do cat document.txt. There we go. Jyrone Parker loves to code. Now let us, oops, cd we already got that. So another thing I want to do, we want to delete a file. Just do delete and pass in the name of the file. That should be good. I'm from delete. I'm tripping. Oh, womp womp. It's unlink, not delete. Like I said, use Laravel. So, well, that's abstracted away from me, which you will soon find out that frameworks are the way to go. Link. Now, if we look in the test documents folder, there's nothing in there because we just deleted it. All the other functions, like the change group, change owner, uh, there's the copy function, and that just sounds just like you would think. Passing the name of the file you want to copy, and then passing the name of what you want to copy it to. Um, is executable, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, all these other things, really the names, most of them kind of speak to what they do. I would just Google PHP file system commands. And what I would do if I were you, try to import different files onto your virtual machine. Use the fopen command and see what your files look like. For example, open up a PDF file and see how it looks like. Open up a picture file, see how that looks like. But let's see. I think that is everything I'm gonna do for today, as far as new content. Um, I'm trying to think of anything crucial. And I think I got it all for what I wanted to do today. With that being said, if there is no questions, I think I'm gonna wrap. It up. I think tomorrow we will work on date and time functions, including other PHP files into your PHP files so you can reference them. And we will focus on error handling. So I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm trying to think. I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to do. So like I said, w3schools.com. That's the letter W, the number 3, the word schools.com. And then you also have php.net. Look up, do your homework, get on your virtual machine, code away. I will see you guys tomorrow. This is Jyrone Parker, aka Master Shake, signing off.